What is happening, folks? It's your boy Jimmy G in the place to be, bringing you back another great episode of The Good, the Bad, the Awesome, where we review all things pop culture, anything it could be. It's usually an unboxing and review, first reaction, what I see, you see. Do you see what I see? All right, so if this is your first time here, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button so you can be notified of all the goodness. And if you've been here before, thank you for continuing to watch and your continued support as we get ready to hit that 500 subscriber milestone, and we go on and on and on and on and on. But thank you all for the love and support. So today we're going to go into the world of the Transformers land. I love me some Transformers, and we're going to look at a company that I really like, but also frustrates the stew out of me because they are some difficult transformations, and you guessed it, it is Magic Square. And today we're gonna look at two robots, actually one robot in two different iterations, and so we're gonna take a look at those today, and hopefully I can transform them and not get frustrated and drive myself to alcoholism. So why don't you come back to my lab and let's take a look at Munitioner by Magic Square, aka not Swindle. So which one's better, the G1 or the toy version? Let's find out. And here he is. I think he's a he. Munitioner, aka Swindle, one of the legs of the Combaticon Bruticus. If you don't know much about the Combaticons, I'll put a link for a video that does a good job at explaining on who they are. But as y'all know, they are combiners. Magic Square is legend scale Transformers, which basically what I like about them is you get kind of masterpiece level transformation in a smaller package, and Magic Square is one of the best companies out there to do that. New Age is another one. I also like Iron Factory. So if you don't have a lot of room, these are the ones to have. So right here I have two different versions of Swindle here. I have, this one is considered the G1 version, and then this one here is considered the toy, or some people call it the IDW version. I don't know why, but I will call it the toy version. But two different boxes. Same bot, but some slight differences between the two. But let's take a look at the boxes first. So there's the first one. Beautiful artwork, has that G1-esque kind of inspired artwork there. Then it says Munitioner on this side, 0 to 3, can't play with it. Another cool little picture of him right there, and there's a space bridge in the background. That's awesome. Then his stats, very smart, you know, and then very skilled right there in Magic Square's logo. And another picture of Munitioner, and on the bottom all the warnings that are out there. Magic Square is based out of China. They do have a website I'll put a link to below that you can order from. Typically, if you order from Magic Square, you can get this for about $37 plus shipping. If you get it in the States, you're probably looking at double that. So around $70, $72 for a bot. And you may be like, man, that's a lot of money. These are really cool bots. So if you can wait for it, if you can wait a few weeks, order it from overseas. If you can't, by all means, order it and get it here in the States. Here is the toy version, MS-B52D. I love the holographic look. I don't know if you can kind of see that. That is awesome. Same bot right there. Nothing. Little more holograph, but nothing. Nothing. Magic Square logo. Nothing. And so not much to this box. A little more classic, really cool, kind of like, you know, going to prom kind of look, where this is the homecoming dance king right here. So let's do this. Let's get them out of the box and transform them through the magic of video editing right now. And here they both are out of the package. And so on this side we have the G1, and on this side we have the toy version or IDW version of Munitioner, aka Swindle. And so let's take a look at what you get in the box with both of those, and then we'll go over some differences in articulation and comparisons and all that good stuff. So with the G1 version, you do get this beautiful card right here. Yes, with all of them. I love the cards that come with your third-party bots. Hasbro, include some cards. That would be awesome. Of course, that might add some cost to the price. Then we also get the instruction booklets, which with Magic Square is not very clear a lot of times. But if you are a advanced transforming person, then yes, you'll be really good at this. If you're like me, this will probably be frustrating. So, yep, you get those instructions. Then you get the left foot of Bruticus for when he combines. You also get the rear wheel here that goes on the back. His gun, his bigger gun, and this doohickey right here. So those are all the things you get with the G1 as well as the bot itself. The only difference in the other version is you have a different card. So to show you there. And the only other difference is the foot. So you get the toy version foot versus the G1 foot. You can kind of see the differences there between the two. So you got the gray versus the solid color here, and just some other minor differences in kind of the detailing and the size of that foot too. So you can notice the gray foot is a little bit bigger than the other one. So, but other than that, those are the differences in what you get. So let's put those things aside and let's take a look at the main events themselves. And that is the bots. So I will try to bring in a little more illumination. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see what we can do here. I got kind of a limited space that I work with over here in my little laboratory. Let me see if I can get that as much a wider light there. And let's see if I can bring in this light over here a little bit better. And there we go. So let's take a look at the bots side by side. And already you can see a couple of clear, distinct differences. So you can see on the G1, the window is painted on him, whereas on the toy version, it is translucent. However, the one thing that I like about the toy version, the G1 version is not great at, is if you look at the face sculpts, the toy version here has the gray, whereas the G1, it's just all black. What I found out is I think those face pieces you can kind of remove and switch them out. So if you like the G1 version better with the gray sculpt, you can just switch out the heads there, but you would have to buy both versions. So Magic Square, I beg of thee, please release just that face, so that way if we want to change it out, we can. So between the two bots, I mean, the plastic feels the same. I love the feel of Magic Square's plastic. It's got this just this smooth velvety feel like butter, but here they are. We'll put them side by side here so you can kind of see what they look like side by side. Exactly the same. And then in the back, exactly the same right there. And then this, back to back, they faced each other, drew their swords and shot each other. If you don't believe this lie is true, ask the old blind man, he saw it too. And there's the front. So again, well, the big differences that you're gonna see between the two bots is the window here and the face sculpt, and then the foot that you get with the toy version versus the G1 version. So those are the biggest differences between the two. So I'm going to put one of them aside because the articulation is the same for both of them. So we'll take a look at the G1 version's articulation. I did a little poll on my YouTube page and most people prefer the G1 version, and I would have to agree except for the face. But other than that, everything else I would agree on, that I do prefer the G1 version of Munitioner. But there is the arm. You can go 90 degrees out with it. You can also rotate 360. You also have, boom, elbow, more than a 90 degree on the elbow. And you do have rotation there. And then the hand, you have rotation as well. So some really good, and the joints are really nice. It's on a ball joint, so that's really great. The head, you can 360. It is on a ball joint as well, so you can look up. Looking down is a little bit, you can't really do, and you can't really tilt side to side, but that's what you got there. When we get to the waist, you do have 360 rotation there, and you do have the good old sit-up ab crunch that you can do just awesome that you can make that happen. And then let's move his arms up so that way we can take a look at the legs. So the leg, we can't kick back. Wow, maybe, what? Yeah, we can kick forward there. Oh, I see, because the leg mechanism's right there. You can kick it forward and kick it forward pretty far. But as far as kicking it back, yeah, not gonna happen. It won't go backwards. But you do have more than a 90-degree bend on that knee. So yeah, you can do that and that, and you can twist, but yeah, no kicking forward. And then the ankle does have a little bit of a rocker here, a little up and down motion that you do have right there too as well. That's kind of disappointing. I can't go back with that leg. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but oh well. It's not like I pose him going backwards anyway, but if I wanted him to run or something, I guess you can just do it from the knee right there and kind of bring that up like so, and hey, there we go. You can kind of make him look like that. But yeah, that's kind of, oh well. I do like the fact that when he does kick up, that the leg skirts right there kind of move up, and some of the work that they did. It's interesting, you got the fake wheel here. You got the fake wheels here because the real wheels are right there, and it's part of the transformation. So this does look very difficult to transform. So that will be fun. So let's move you to the side. Let's bring you back in here, and we will do some comparisons with some other robots. And so let's move you kind of, let's put you front and center, and let's start with some legend scale robots. And we will start with good old legend scale Sideswipe, magic squares right there. Beautiful. So Sideswipe's a little bit shorter. Let's bring his comrade here, Brawl, right there. So I forgot what he's called in the magic square world, but he's Brawl in the G1 world. And so there you go, some legends on that. And then if we get into the Hasbro line, actually let's go with one more legend scale, and that's gonna be Omega Supreme. And you can see how much bigger Omega Supreme is, but you know what, that will change once you have all the Combaticons in combiner mode. So you can see here, let me just lift the camera up, there we go, lot bigger. There we go. We can get that. There we go. We got you in the frame there, Omega. So we got a deluxe Transformer Hasbro Jazz. You like jazz? Then we have Voyager class Shattered Glass Optimus Prime. And last but not least, I have Magic Squares Masterpiece Light of Victory Optimus Prime right there. So we can kind of see them all together. We belong together. We belong. All right. So there they are, all of my coconuts lined up in a row here, and there is the main event that we're talking about today, and you can kind of see how he scales. Scales well with the legend size, but not with the other guys here, but does scale well with legend. This is actually Pangu Toys Omega Supreme, so Mighty Miracle God. I do have his upgrade kit, and we'll review that a little bit later down the road. I haven't put it on, but yeah, he's awesome. I have the New Age Omega Supreme I haven't opened yet, so I want to compare them to. But for $80, you can't beat him on that. So yeah, so let's get these guys out of the way. Thank you for coming. Collect your paychecks on the way out. That joke never gets old to me, but probably to some of y'all, you're like, stop it. Stop saying that. But, yeah. Yas. And Omega, let's move you out of the way. And there we go. We're back to the Swindles. The Swindles themselves. Both of them. together again. So what we are going to do, I'm not going to do it on camera. I'm going to get them both transformed into their Jeep mode, and we'll do some comparisons there, and then we'll talk about some of my final thoughts around Magic Square's Munitioner, aka Swindle. There he is, all transformed into his alt form, the Jeep mode. Now, this took me about an hour. A couple shots of Buffalo Trace whiskey, and a whole lot of prayer to get all this together. And I'll intersplice some things of me trying to transform it, but really the hardest part of this whole transformation is this back section here. Oh my God. I mean, the first part is hard. I mean, Legends, I mean, you gotta love them and you gotta hate them at the same time, especially Magic Square. I love you and I hate you both at the same time because, golly, there is a lot of small parts and tabs and things, and everything's just spidered out. You can kind of see with the legs how I had everything just out, and I'm just like, where do I go from here? Because the instructions were not good. So thank God I found a YouTube tutorial on how to transform him really well, and I got him together as best as I could, and here he is. And guess what? This one is still in robot mode because I'm like, screw it. It's not going to happen this time. You know, it's not going to happen. Maybe I'll work up the courage to get him into Jeep mode. But honestly, the only difference you're going to have, again, is these windshields right here. Right there when you're in Jeep mode. That is the biggest difference, I believe, on there. I think that is it. Let me just double check. Yep. Because see, you can see right there. The headlights are the same. Everything is the same except for the windshield. Oh man, now I got him all kind of kerfuffled. There you go. There you go, Munitioner. But that is it. The translucent windshield. So this part right here, there we go. It's kind of just sticking in a little bit. That's kind of bugging me a little bit. But there were some steps that I missed, and then I had to go back and untab them and retab them and untab them and retab them and get it right. And so what I would encourage you to do, if this is your first time transforming something from Magic Square, do not use these. Find a good YouTube tutorial. I'll link the one that I used that helped me out. MGO316 does a really great job at explaining, because these instructions, oh my gosh. Magic Square, if I had one piece of feedback for you, you don't even have to include these. Just give me a link to your website where there is a step-by-step stop motion on how this is supposed to work, and you can save money on paper, and I would do that every day of the week. I would make that happen, because that would be so much better than trying to follow these and get going with that. So that is my one gripe and my one frustration about some of these Legend bots, is they are a bit difficult to transform. Some of that's great. It's a challenge. I love it. But some of it is enough to drive a man to become an alcoholic. And I'm just right now enough to barely slur my speech here. But enough of that. What about this vehicle mode that I did? Get out of here, Munitioner. You're going to stay in robot mode, because I need one of y'all to stay in Jeep, one of y'all to stay in robot mode. I'm not going to put him in foot mode yet, because I'm going to wait till I have everything to put them all in their combined modes and what they look like. But this is him. He's there. So let's take a closer look, and you can kind of see that's there from the front, the side view. There is the front view, the other side view, and then the back view. From the top, the one thing, the gappiness, I think this could have been covered, but of course that would have been more difficult transformations going on if we could have covered that a little bit. But other than that, I mean, it's okay. It's a Jeep, right? And there's the seats. It would have been kind of cool. Yeah, the seats kind of could have carried on. Like that black could have been black and could have looked more like the seats if that would have just just out. Let me see if I can move this windshield out of the way a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. Well, you can see there's a little tan right there, and then the top of the seat, and then the black of the legs. If they could have just painted that a little bit, and that would have looked like it was the seat, that would have been amazing. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. It rolls really well. If you transform it right, it rolls really well. This part right here was a little bit of a booger bear for me because there's some tabs and stuff you have to get right. And if you don't have everything kind of squeezed in just right, you're not going to get the tabs in just right. And that's the part of it, is like as you get it all together, you just still continue to squeeze and push and squeeze and push and squeeze and push until you get it where you want it to be. But yeah, the difference between these two when they're in alt mode is just the windshield. So you can kind of see one transparent windshield, one painted windshield. And again, my preference would be the painted windshield. I like the cartoon look because that's what I'm kind of going for on that. Now, to make the perfect bot, it would be take this head and put it on this body. That would be the perfect robot. That would be amazing. But unfortunately, this one will probably stay in vehicle mode because I'm going to use this and I'm going to create him with make the G1 Bruticus with it. But I mean, I'm going to, of course, convert them all, and so you can see the different Bruticuses. But right now, as I display them, this will stay in vehicle. This will stay in robot mode so that I can have just two of them, just kind of have them side by side on that. But on the bottom, you can kind of see everything's kind of pieced in together. There's, again, just a little bit of gappiness and stuff. But overall, really, really great work. And what I love, again, where they make it a lot better is the plastic on the Magic Square stuff is a lot more forgiving than some other ones. Some others, like even Hasbro's, I would feel like I'm gonna break it. But Magic Square is just that velvety smooth feel of plastic. I think it gives a little bit more pliability and a little bit more bendability to be able to get things where they need to go. But really enjoying that. I know one thing I forgot to show some of y'all. Can this guy do the splits? Nope, he can't. He can't do the splits. That's as far as his leg goes out. So unless you go like, yep, no splits. So you don't have very much posability in the legs on these guys. But vehicle mode, I like him. He looks great. I wish I had a New Age Jeep or a Magic Square Hound. Actually, I do have Magic Square Hound. I just have them in the box. I haven't gotten them out yet, so that I could compare the two Jeeps. But I do have some vehicles that we will compare him with. So let's bring on the cowers. So let's put you front and center there, Munitioner. And we'll start with MHZ's wheelie. So you can kind of see from a size comparison, there's a little wheelie right there. This came with the MHZ Grimlock. So if you want a good kind of, this is a KO, undersized KO of the studio wheelie. So if you want a good little wheelie to go with your legend scale, get that MHZ one. You can get it at TF Safari. I think it was like 39 bucks. But this, and I did a review on wheelie and that Grimlock, so you can check my previous videos to see that. But there he is. And then let's move wheelie. And let's bring in, this is New Age's Mirage. So you can kind of see them side by side. We'll kind of lift it so you can kind of see from a size and a height standpoint. I dig New Age's Mirage. I need to get a Magic Square Mirage, but he's sold out on Magic Square's website, so I got to look at some other places to get him. I am not going to pay for him for what TF Source wants him for. I will wait a couple of weeks to get him overseas. So Mirage, let's get you out of here. And let's bring in brother from another mother. There we go. There's Brawl. There they are together. Kind of see them side by side. Here is my complaint sometimes with vehicles. I get why he can't be kind of true to size tank because the legs have to be the same size, right? But I feel a tank would be a lot bigger than a Jeep, right? Don't you all agree? A tank would be a whole lot bigger than a Jeep. But, I mean, hey, from a size of the robot, you're good. But I think from a vehicle, the tank would be a whole lot bigger. So let's move you out of the way. And let's go with a core class wheelie. There he is. So you can see how big. So very not scalable at all. And then let's bring in, there we go. We got Scourge, the Velocitron Scourge right there. So much bigger than that Jeep. So we'll get you out of there. And then we have my masterpiece, my Star Commander from Magic Square. I love Magic Square stuff. I'm just telling you, I dig their stuff. I hate their transformations at sometimes. I mean, I don't hate them. I don't hate the transformation. It gets frustrating sometimes, and you just kind of have to step away from it and get back together and just do it. It's a challenge. It is. I'm just not the best person to transform stuff, and so sometimes I'm just like, you're just gonna stay in robot mode. And then hey, you came in vehicle mode, you're just going to stay in vehicle mode. So this guy came in robot mode, and I did a review on him, and he took me about 2 hours to transform, and boy, was he tough. And I still don't think I got him right. But there they are side by side, so you can kind of see that comparison. So let's move this like this. We'll kind of put him here. We'll go next right there with that Scourge. And then we'll get the core class wheelie. Then we'll get New Age's Miraji. And then we got good old Brawl. There we got that guy. And then we got Little Wheelie. So there you go. There they all are lined up from size comparison. And there's Munitioner, the toy version, standing there, goes, why won't you transform me? Because you're hard, man. You're tough. So I'm not going to do that right now. But that is so let us come back together and just talk through some of my final thoughts on them, and wait and anticipate all the other Combaticons so we can form Bruticus. So let's do it. Welcome back. You may notice I have a different shirt on. Well, this is a different day to talk about my final thoughts around Magic Square's Munitioner, aka Swindle. And so I'm now sober after lots of drinking to get over and cope with the transformation. I'm sober. I'm better again. Thank you all for your concern. No, none of you all were concerned. That's okay. But let's bring in Munitioner. This is the toy version, or some call it the IDW, but the toy version on it. I thank you to one YouTube user who kind of brought that to my attention when I was doing the Brawl reviews. And then of course the G1 version right here, who's still in vehicle mode. Biggest difference is going to be your windshield, that right there, transparent, painted, and then the face, where the toy version you can kind of see it's gray right there. That face is gray. I don't know if you can see that. Let me bring in some more light. There you go. You can see it's got that gradation of that gray there, whereas the G1 version, it's all black. So if you have both and you want to make the perfect robot, you want to change the head out on this one and put it on the G1 one. I think that's the way to go, because I like the aesthetic of the windshield and things. The only thing I don't like about the G1 one is is the head. I mean, it's not bad. It's just preference. I like this head better. But who knows? Magic Square might just release a head and say, hey, pay for shipping and we'll get you ahead in life. But transformation, you need to be a more experienced transformation type of person, or be ready for some frustration. But what my piece of advice to you is, don't use the instruction booklet that comes with all the Magic Square ones. I don't know why it's taken me this long to realize that. I think it's because I like to do the first reaction with you all to see if I can follow the instructions to transform it, and I can't. So what helps me is just going on YouTube. There's bound to be someone that has these before I do, that has transformed them and has a really good video, and will help you out. And that is my one thing to say to you, Magic Square. Like I said in the video earlier, is just make some videos of a stop motion step-by-step on how to transform, because I would love that. You'll save some trees by not having to print the paper, and that would be great. The only other difference again between the two is the toy version, you're going to get the gray foot and the G1 version, you're going to get the color matched foot on that. So I didn't show you all them in their feet mode, their alt mode, because I'm going to wait until we get all of them together to combine them and do a video on combining and forming Bruticus. Now I do have Night Tracer right here. And I will be opening him up and reviewing him, but I'm waiting because I did order the toy version of Night Tracer as well. So I'd like to do them side by side together, instead of having a separate video. Just do side by side because the transformations are the same, just a few aesthetic differences. The only one that I felt ripped off on is Brawl, because the only thing that was different was the foot. Everything else was the same, but the only thing that was different was the foot. It's kind of like, hey, why don't you just sell us the foot, or just sell a kit with just all the parts for that? So, but yeah, which one do you all prefer? Do you prefer the toy, or do you prefer the G1? I know on my poll thing, I think 78% of the 9 people who casted their votes preferred the G1 version over the toy version. I would say a combination of both makes them the perfect combo on that. From an articulation standpoint, I mean, because of the nature of it having to be a combiner, again, you're not going to get some back movement on that, and you're going to be very limited. You don't get really side. That's about as far as he spreads his legs. That's it. So from a leg standpoint, you don't get much, but everything else is really good. Again, y'all heard me say this about Legends. I mean, the articulation is on par with what I would consider Masterpiece, but there are smaller packages for you to be able to save space as you maybe don't have the space for them, but you really want some really good detailed figures. What's really great, if you're like, well, I would love to have faction stickers and stuff, and you can get faction stickers for them. There are different places you can get them. Etsy. I know if you order from TF Safari or Shozy store, they actually include faction stickers. I know Magic Square's website, you can buy the waterside decals. I think that's what they're called, faction stickers and things like that. And hopefully they're going to come out with some decals for the entire team. So I know Toy Hacks, they're probably working on that. So, but I know also the Magic Square has like the decals for Menasor, so maybe they'll come out with one for all of Bruticus once he's all released. And probably Magic Square will probably release a kind of a gift package too with all of them in. What you're going to pay for him is about $38 plus shipping if you order him from Magic Square. If you order him from like TF Source, you're probably going to pay about 80 bucks. And you're like, 80 bucks, but the engineering that goes into these things is phenomenal. And so you're going to pay that import tax. So if you can wait a few weeks, you order from Magic Square's website, Bombus B, Shozy store, TF Safari, because you're going to get them for more of that regular wholesale price, which you can get them for. But you will be waiting probably about 14 days to get him. Whereas if you're like, I can't wait, then pay the 80 bucks. Look on eBay, maybe someone will have one there too as well. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. I do not fault people for selling them for more or anything like that. People got to make a living, right? But on a scale of good, bad, awesome, I think these are pretty awesome, man. I'm really enjoying these. I think these are some great figures, and I think you'll enjoy them too. So I can't wait to review the other ones. I have more Magic Square things. I just got to work up the courage to transform them. I get them, like when I film these videos, a lot of my videos from my McFarlane figures and things like that, it takes me about 30-45 minutes to film everything and then to cut it together. When it comes to Transformers, about 2 to 3 hours. So it does take a little bit of time to do that, because you do have to transform them, things like that. And I've decided not to show you my stumbling transforming things, but you will get my reaction on what it's like to transform them. So thank you all for listening to me. Tune in next time when we talk about something else awesome and amazing. So in the meantime, y'all stay young, have fun, and be awesome. We'll talk to you soon.